Alright, Guardians, I'm going to go through a normal mission of the Whisper of the Worm, and then we'll try and do a heroic one later for you guys, but I want to show you kind of the opening sections, the way I set up my gear for my Titan, and just a couple things to expect, and I'll try and do commentary as I go through the mission, see if I can finish this thing solo. I actually did it on my Warlock, but didn't have any commentary, so I'm trying to do this clean. You're always looking for the public event that is going to be the Taken Blight, not the Cabal one. And first thing you want to do is make sure and hit that rally flag, because when you go into the event, especially if you have Whisper and you're bringing it with you, you're helping people out, you want to be full on whatever power ammo you've got. That's important. Now, as soon as the actual public event starts, you have to go find a yellow bar boss that's hiding around the map, and you have to kill him to actually open the portal. So the way this works, you've got 3 places. So if you guys see where I'm at on the map up here in the top corner, it's actually probably right about where my cursor's at. So I'll show you guys on the map where these 3 are located. So if you come up here towards the very top and you look down this little cave where my cursor's at, this is one of them, right down here between these 2 rock formations. This is number 1. Number 2 is actually not that far away, it's just a bit more elevated. So that one is going to be up here by where this tree was at. This is actually, if you guys have done the glitch, this is where you would glitch into it. But you'd be up here where you have this little thing that you can investigate. He will literally spawn up here and then go into the cave. So if you don't catch it at first and see him, you may have to run in the cave to find it. So you've got the cave down here. You've got this one up here by the little globe. If not at either of these, you're going to be looking for the 3rd section, which is pretty much all the way across the map, which is a bit of a bummer. So from here, you're going to follow this path all the way down, all the way around, so you see the big tree roots again, right here, all coming down. So you're going to go underneath basically everything above you into this cave here. Now sometimes there's just a regular knight in here, which is one thing, but the boss can actually be in this section as well. And I've seen him in a couple variety of places throughout this area. Always pick these up because you never know when you're going to need them. But anywhere through here, I've seen him in multiple spots, but he can basically be all the way throughout. So these are the 3 spots you need to check to actually find the boss. And we'll see if we can find him together. So there's a couple of people over there who look like they're doing the same thing. Okay, so take out a random enemy while I'm waiting. Really? Yeah. So, got about 52 seconds. We're going to go ahead and wait. So while we wait, I'm going to cover my inventory real quick so you guys can see it. Now, I have done the mission, so I have the Whisper. This is definitely going to be a bit of an advantage because of multiple things of the way the gun works. But if you don't have it, Polaris Lance is actually a really good thing to use because of the amount of ammo you can use, and that continuous precision shots on the bosses with a scout rifle is going to work really well. So if you have Polaris and you don't have Whisper, I would bring something like Darcy, and then when you're out of Darcy ammo in the final boss room, I would probably switch to Polaris and see what you can do. Shout out to Esoteric, he's done the whole damn thing without Whisper at all, basically using that. So, it is doable. But I've got any type of strong hand cannon. Midnight Coup seems to be the best one. Don't have that, so I'm running with Better Devils. First 2 rooms, you're going to be dealing with solar shields pretty much only, so some type of solar scout rifle is going to be beneficial to drop those shields. Now, Whisper is helpful to drop some things quicker. That's why if you're running with somebody that has one or has done it before, that's a good thing. Once you get through the first 2 rooms, you're going to want to have a Void Scout Rifle or a Void Auto Rifle with some range on it. Positive Outlook some people use, but I like my Void Scout. Final room, you're going to want Arc Scout Rifle for some range for a couple enemies. I'm going to use a Solar Scout Rifle at first, and I think these guys found him. So if it's up here, we're going to find these couple guys. He seems to be up here. And if you see a whole bunch of people tucked in this little corner, you're going to know why. So it's kind of hard to miss him. He's right in here. And you'll see it's a yellow box, Urzok. It's actually one of the guys from an old strike in Destiny 1. Once he dies, pick up an ammo in case you need it, but the portal is going to appear that actually kicks off the mission. So you'll see it actually up here. So the Taken Blight is going to do its thing. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to finish the event. You just have to go up to the portal and actually activate your run. So you do want to make sure you have full ammo. That's always important. That's why that rally flag is important to hit. But as you guys can see, it's a little blinding on my screen, so I'm going to get to where I can actually talk to you guys for a second. Final pieces, as I said. So solar for the first 2 phases. Some type of ranged or, medium range. Pulse rifle's probably really good too. I've seen Conspirator, things like that, a Void Pulse Rifle. And for the final room, Pulse or Scout. Me, I like Scout. But also something Pulse or Void is also good because you're going to have to take down some Blights, so a decent amount of ammo has its benefits. Heavies, Whisper, Sleeper, Darcy, something that can deal a lot of damage quickly is going to be important, but at range, so that's why I would probably say Darcy if you don't have Whisper, and then probably switch to Polaris. But before this thing disappears, let's go in, and I'll see you guys on the inside and explain as I go. Alright guys, if you've seen my explanation before, to start this thing out, you want to skip running through the full Lost Sector. You just want to jump up here. Of course, not fail at the jump. Well, prime example, you guys will see, not perfect. But once you get up here, you're just going to jump over to this ledge, land up here. Now this is a place I'll use a grenade happily because you're going to get the grenade energy back, and it's going to help you kill this blight quicker, especially if you are by yourself. Don't even worry about reloading, just switch to whatever weapon you have and drop down in the hole. Once you're down in the hole, just need to figure out which direction is forward and run on through. Now from here, the jumping puzzle begins. No matter what class you're on, anything that helps with jumping is important. On my Titan, I've got Lion Rampants that helps me glide a little bit farther and do a couple more things. Frosties on the Hunter is great, and the Warlocks, you guys can float in a couple places, but sometimes the float is a bit annoying for me. So you can go down that whole right side, but what I'm going to do is actually skip that section and go to this middle in-between platform and pretty much just land straight on it. So once you're here, take a second. Sometimes if you're curious just about being able to stay on a section, stay there for a second, and then if you do fall or not have a great jumping run, what you're going to do is typically spawn back where you stopped for a second. So it's important just to have those occasional pauses if you're having issues with jumping to have a decent respawn point. These things are a bit of a slowdown. There's not much you can do to get by them. As a Titan, you can technically, with the Lion Rampants and some jumping prowess, you can actually jump right over there from that ledge and skip this whole section, which will speed it up. So if you are doing a Titan run, that will be a beneficial thing to do. On the other classes, I'm not sure the others can make it. So perks for a Titan for a change. Now this last one will push you out a little bit, so be ready. And then once you're here, I'm again using the Lion Rampants, and Zur is selling them this weekend, so you're going to want to pick them up. They're going to help you out with this. Now this elevator is something you can't clamber up to, so if you actually need to land on the platform, you can't just hit the edge. As this thing goes up, you'll see that thing that will poke out and try and shove you off. So try and jump off first and just get your run going. I'll see if I can make this a relatively clean run for you guys. But as we go through, you're going to have a couple things kind of push in both directions. If you fall down, it will kind of be hard to come back up, but it's not that long of a thing. It just takes a few seconds to fall down. Now, you're going to want to hit these ledges, but you're also going to want to be aware of the bursts that are going to kind of knock you off. If you're doing this with other people, tagging this enemy before he gets you is kind of important. Turn around. So if you have people following you in the first one there, it's always nice to tag that enemy for them so they're not worried about it. There's going to be another one that appears on my left over there, but I'm just going to skip that one and just go right in the hole here and keep running. So for me, typically, you should be able to get relatively over to this platform here. And watch, those little shadows are actual breaks in the ground, so you can fall down. But I like to use my little burst. There's a guy that appears off to your left, but if you run it quick enough, you won't have to worry about it. If you're running down here, drop down around. Use your crouch, your light turns on. Can be a little annoying, kind of creep up over. Crouch down. I don't know why, I don't always get that one to be very smooth. Run around this corner. I have done this faster before, but, you know, trying to get some explanation for you guys so I can at least have some commentary so you guys know what's coming. As you run around this corner, try and turn yourself into the wall as much as you can. A couple of these ledges are a bit short. And then when you get to about here, just try and go for a straight jump to this ledge. Now, the best thing I've figured out to do is try and use my cursor looking straight down as my aiming point, and just try and land straight on that. This part's a little short, so be careful. Got a couple ledges, and you actually, if you miss, you can use this ledge behind you, jump on up, and we're at the enemy sections. So if you got your sniper, you're going to want to use solar first. So I'll show you guys where you're going to run down in. There's little blasters when you come in that will kind of launch you around the room, so be aware of those. But you're going to want to hit this sniper in the back first. You're going to have a knight that spawns in. Tag him if you can quickly. Of course, I didn't reload, which is unfortunate. Now, you can kill him in one shot, which is nice. Solid shot there. And then if there's anybody over on that ledge, we can tag him as well before we get over there. You want to kill these guys before they really get too much in range. He's hiding, so I'm going to go across the path for now. Now, there are some thrall back there. I'm going to get to those in a second. Just don't mind me. Now, I don't want to use my grenade there. That was really stupid because I'm missing this guy too much. Wow. Okay, so his shield's down. That's a terrible start. Sorry, guys. Not the best moves, but we'll see if I can do this in a less crappy fashion. So, use your ammo, drop on down, wait for the blast. I should have kept my grenade, honestly, because I need it for those guys, but we'll see how this goes. But yeah, if you can hit that guy, there's going to be a decent amount of heavy ammo throughout this, so use what you've got. I'll save a little bit more ammo there, finish him up. Now, you're going to have some enemies around here, and once you kill enough of these Thrall, you're going to have some more that spawn. So this is where trying to kill as many of these as possible is an important thing. Now, one thing is those guys are going to start to hit fairly hard that will help is going to be switching to Synthoceps for a Titan. You have a little powerful super, a little bit more powerful super, and you're also going to be able to do a stronger melee. If you have Midnight Coup, Better Devils, hitting these guys, just let them line up in this cave. Sometimes they'll run to you, sometimes they'll run in. You got to pull them to you, you might have to peek out a little bit, go for those headshots where you can. This is where the grenade would have been better. Obviously not my most optimal run for you guys, but save it if you can. Alright, so once the enemies start spawning in, you're going to have some that peek down this tunnel here, so watch out for the Vandals. You're going to have quite a few snipers. They will be kind of teleporting around a little bit. Sometimes they will be a bit dodgy. You're going to get British with it. So sometimes this safe spot is up here on this ledge, and see what you can pick off from above. So you're going to have a couple Vandals down below. Try and pick those off. You're probably going to have one that's being shielded by a Goblin. And I'm getting blasted. You're going to have some deaths in here. That's probably okay. It's not the most flawless run, but we'll see if I can make this thing be at least a humane run as opposed to perfection. Esoteric's the beast of making things look good, but seeing if I can get a decent run up for you guys to look at one. So you're going to have these taken goblins back here that are going to do some shielding. You're going to want to kill them fairly quickly. Down here you're going to have some guys as well in here. Again, being shielded, so watch out for those. And you just have to trade sides occasionally. That's probably going to be alright. Not my best maneuvers there. There's a few more enemies that spawn on that back corner. You could do your super here, but honestly I like to save mine for the next room. Is this the most efficient run? Probably not, but it's getting some jobs done. So he's down. Those little blasters behind can throw you off. And if I can get 3 crits, I'll at least be efficient with my ammo. Of course not. And again, try and use those little shields for your benefit, because sometimes they'll actually give you a little bit of cover if you don't have any. Now, if they start popping shields, this is where Synthoceps will come into play. Get a bit more powerful melee, same as this dude back here. And you're going to have a few more down below. So fall down, punch him, he's going to take 2. Alright, this room is taking me longer than I would like. That's why the super has its benefits, but I really should have just saved my grenade. It's a little better spawn point than a couple that I've had. But yeah, these guys hide, so they can be a little annoying. Thank you. Alright, so once all the enemies in a room are dead, you have a little portal, shoot it. Now, you got a couple blasters that come through, and I'm going to go grenade and then pop my super, because these are all going to be solar shields. So you want to kill all the Taken. You might even have to jump in a bubble. Make sure everything's clear. Pop the portal. Now, when you drop down in here, it's quick to go tuck yourself in this right, look on this little ledge for this guy, tag him, and then tag him again. And over here to your left is going to be another one. This is where you're going to want to use your grenade that you've got. Try and find the guy that you're looking for, which is going to be your Taken Knight, who's going to be your big pain in the butt back here. Now, once he is down, those guys I'll get to him later. I'm going to go hide in this little corner, gather my health, and take a second and switch a couple things. Switching over to Void for a super later, and also over to Arc for my super and Void for my weapons. So we're going to have first a Knight that we need to take out across the way so he doesn't set my platform on fire. How that didn't hit. Okay, seriously, what am I not hitting him with? Occasionally stuff like that happens too, and it feels like you shoot the guy, and it doesn't count. Make sure you're not turned around. Sometimes it turns you the wrong way, and it's just like an epic spawn, not even facing the correct direction, so don't worry about that. So, big boy here, finally a straight shot at him. See if I can turn him around. You're going to peek over your shoulder, I'll do that. Reload, you've got some snipers you want to take out. So 1, watch the wizards, they're going to be tagging you with a bunch of shots. You're going to have plenty of heavy ammo that drops, so watch out for that. Depending on which wizards are up, you've got one back here, and then one down here. Unfortunately, I'm dropping the shields in the wrong order, but that dude is hiding and then, of course, peeks. So once the shield pops, you can drop them. This is why Whisper is so nice. Drop them with that. Wizard down as well. Get the headshot, and I may as well make the most of that clip. Turn and hit that one. I got one more to hit around the corner. I may as well use Whisper because I'll get the ammo back. There we go. Alright, so now down below you're going to have a whole lot of guys screaming at you. They're the Taken Acolytes with the Void Shields. Try and pop what you can. This is where something, a Void Pulse Rifle or Scout is going to be what works for me. I use my Scout because I got a Manan that's actually Void. I've got all three, but it's just one of those things that really seems to work pretty well. The explosive rounds, and also something that's got a decent amount of range. Now you're going to have one more sniper hiding in the back, depending on where he's tucked. I know he's back there. I can't see him. So you're going to have a few more enemies around. So I'm going to grab a little bit of ammo. Try and find this sniper, which I know he's there. Synthesips are still on, so I have some okay melees. Now back here's an okay place to hide behind this, because you've got this guy you need to kill. And you also have a Void Wizard down here that you also need to kill. You want to be on this little platform before this until this wizard dies, because you want to be able to not have to deal with the little guys that it spawns. If the shield's down, try and drop it. Oh, really? Well, you guys are seeing what I would call a less than optimal run. If I finish this thing, I'll actually kind of be surprised. This is a pretty terrible run. If I can get to the boss room and actually clean the ads out, it is still doable. It just depends on how the last couple pieces of this run go. So again, I need to drop the wizard's shield. So before he goes and hides in the corner, if I can drop the shield and stun him, get a shot on his head before he hides, without being a terrible shot. There. Alright, you're going to have a few more enemies to kill here. So I'm going to leave a grenade actually killing that thing for a second and go find my last couple of acolytes. And that should be it. Alright, so the portal's open over here. You do want to kill this blight because you're going to be dealing with it quite a bit. I'm going to shoot this one. Alright, now at this point you're going to have a few enemies you do want to deal with. A couple snipers, but once you get far enough forward, you're going to have some enemies that spawn. So we got one. Try and move a little bit. 2, 3. Come on. Now these guys will spawn and you're going to want to kill them however possible. A couple grenades, and if you got something that will work on them, that'll work well. Whisper sometimes can work. But this is why you want to be able to have decent access to this area without having a blight in your face. Pick this guy off up top, and then we're going to start picking these guys off before we go down. Now this is the point where you need to switch over to your arc weapons before you drop down, because the guys down there are going to have arc shields. So you're going to want to do that. Make sure you're reloaded as you're falling down. You don't have to technically kill all of these guys if you survive the whole thing. If you can drop down and actually get there, it's kind of up to you. Alright, so I'm going to go for the drop. See if I can survive this. You just have to kind of skip. You have to jump by them every time now, so it's really up to you guys. So from here, what you're going to want to do when you fall down, as the enemies spawn, you want to kill these blights. Because you don't want the bosses to be hiding in these blights. They will really mess things up for you. So spend a little time on the front one, then I typically head to the back. As soon as this one drops, you're going to want to move quick and get in this other one for hiding a little bit at least. Try and get your health back if you can. They also have Axiom bolts though, so it gets to be a bit dicey. If you don't kill this one completely, if these are down, it's going to make this part a little bit more important. Is this the most epic run in the world? No, but you guys will hopefully see something with at least a decent finish. And it is Solar Singe this week, so this is one of those that will probably work in my benefit for bringing Whisper. So I need to finish this one up if possible. Woo, that hurts. I probably need to honestly throw a grenade in there and just go to the back. And you never quite know where it's going to spawn you. Sometimes it's a little farther back. If I can get the bosses to spawn, they can go down pretty quick as long as things don't get too hairy. I just have to get these enemies down first. And they're being a bit of a pain in my butt right now. So if these guys are all dumped in here again, depends on how much shooting I get at me. Really? I feel like I have one bullet to take this blight out. Alright, so... Well, I'm not dead yet, so we're going to see how this goes. So, using the blights as a little bit of cover, I'm going to head to the back right now. The bosses are all floating back there, but I'm just going to use this blight as cover in the very, very back to gain my health for a second. Because I want that while I take this one out. Alright, so in here, you want all these middle blights and the two front ones down so the bosses can't hide. Because if they can't hide, you can do a lot of damage to them, which is really, really, really important. I got one more to do, and then it's going to have to be just boss melting city. This is kind of going to be rough. But hopefully you guys are along for the ride. You made it this far, so let's see how this goes. They're really not making this easy, are they? So that blight is almost done. If I can kill these bosses in 4 minutes, even I'm going to be impressed. It can be done, because once you start melting them down, they go quick. But I do have to kill all these guys first. I just want to be able to have a clean run at this. I know this seems ridiculous, but you guys will see why in a little bit. Alright, I need to go find a good place to hide, and then it's time to pop my super. And this is why I'm Mark. You're about to find out. And let's go. Because you have these Centurions that you have to take out to get the bosses to spawn. They are a must. Last one. Really, dude? I'm going to have to fight you normal. Alright. Well, 3 minutes on these bosses is going to be a bit of a stretch. But you guys may see something real nice here. We'll see what turns out. Last one. Pop your shield. Pop you down. There we go. Boss time. First one is going to charge up. He's the most annoying. This guy. This is why this gun is kind of amazing at this. Is because the amount of damage you can put out in a short period of time. But that's also why this guy is the most annoying. Because of his little black balls of doom. Oh, I did actually get my ammo back. See, and I've almost literally finished this guy off, and he's going to be the hardest one. Great if I could see you. Really, jerkface? I can't even get a sight on this guy. There he is. You do want to try and manage your ammo a little bit, just because if you don't, you can be kind of screwed when it comes to the final shots. There's one down. The next one will be on the left, and then I've got the turkey out center. Just depends on which is available to hit. 3 shots in him and he typically runs. One will be off to the left, floating somewhere. I might have to just go turkey first. I say turkey, it's a big Centurion. 3 shots and he typically runs. There's some heavy ammo out there. This dude's hiding over here. So depending on if he feels like hiding. And again, watch your ammo. That's kind of the issue of like going too quickly on some of those shots. If you make the 3s work, sometimes it's okay. Not sure that grenade's gonna do much. That dude is hiding. Alright, I'm gonna go for an ammo run real fast. I got about 1.5 minutes left to do this. I just need a couple clips of ammo, mostly just enough to let me get a few extra shots off. Got 1 minute and about 18 seconds to go. And this is why Whisper is the one that makes this thing all possible, because without it, this would be pretty brutal. But the amount of damage this thing does, and it's a solar burn this week, it's even crazier. Last boss. See if we can find him. He's back in the middle. And this is why you want those blights gone, so he's not hiding in a blight. That's exactly why you do that. Dude, stop messing up my shots. Seriously. 3 more shots, and we're going to finish this thing up. And that's it. So that is your normal run. I don't even have the catalyst done, FYI, in case you guys are wondering. I'm almost done. It's at 84%. So I'll probably go do a heroic later. But that is the Whisper of the Worm solo standard run. Obviously, it helps to have the gun with you, so obviously I need to try that thing without it. Polaris Lance is a nice option, but that is hopefully a guide so you guys know what is coming, what you need to look for, and where the bosses are at. Probably the most difficult room for time management is going to be the first and third. The last room, you do have to clear the enemies, stay in the back to snipe the bosses. If you have a group with you and the axiom bolts are an issue, make sure you're far back enough that you can help manage those. And if you have a group, just make sure one person is just on axiom bolt duty. Literally, that's probably worthwhile, because believe me, if you're trying to get some snipes off and you get messed up by those, it'll ruin your day. So overall, hopefully that was helpful for you guys. It's just a lot of fun to do that mission. I love the way it looks, the jumping puzzle, the time sync. Just a whole lot of fun to do that mission. So hopefully y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like below, leave a comment. If you got any questions, let me know if you have any thoughts about strategy, anything of that nature. I'm happy to answer those questions. I think most of us probably know this one pretty well by now, so I should be able to answer most questions of what to expect. But again, solar for the first section, that's why I save my super. If I have people with me, say I've got 2 Titans, one of them pops their super in that first room, you can either clear out the Thrall very quickly or wait till that second round of enemies spawn, clear those out. But I like to have one super for that second kind of room 1.5. It's just that little cave with those few captains and I don't know, vandals that are down there. There's only like 6 or 7 enemies, just a couple are shielded, so you want to kill them quick and move to that next room. The room with basically the whole purple walls everywhere. Tuck off to the right. Make sure you snipe that knight first with something solar. Very, very important. Take that one out. If you're with a group, one of you can jump on that ledge and work on sniping across the way. Make sure you kill those enemies off to the right-hand side, though, because you're going to have one solar knight down there. You're going to have some acolytes. And then as those, if you're fighting off to the right-hand side, you're going to want to focus on the wizards as soon as possible over there, because they're going to send you those little shadow spawns, and they just get to be continuous and annoying. So once you get to that purple room, switch to Void for your damage, and that will help as well. Then when you finish up that room, remember Void, you have to kill all the acolytes. Some will be hiding back towards the entrance in those blights. So if the little thing's not popping up for you to shoot to go to the next room, check back. Sometimes there's one straggler out there. Finally, you can clear half of those, if you got a group and you're decent on time, clear them all so everybody falls down with decent health. And then down there, make sure you have somebody with an arc super. That is very, very important. If you have a Hunter, Radiant Flux and Arc Strider takes all that stuff out without even a question. It's insanely powerful. So if you want to try this, Hunter with Radiant Flux is probably the most powerful thing you can use. That super is insane, very powerful, and lasts forever with Radiant Flux. If you have a couple Titans or something like that, use your solar supers first. As soon as you use your super, whether you're the guy in the first or second room, switch to Arc. You may need 2 supers to finish off those enemies, so that way you can get the bosses to spawn. Once they spawn, make sure you have the 2 front blights killed. Like, as you're working on the enemies, make sure somebody's working on the blights. The 2 front ones, and then down the center, the middle, and the back one. If all 4 of those blights are good, the bosses will typically have nowhere to go hide most of the time. That's usually a safe bet. And then you can sit back and hopefully pick them off with either Scouts, Polaris Lance, Whisper of the Worm if somebody's got it, Snipers, Darcy, all that stuff. As you kill some of those heavy adds, remember heavy ammo will be out there. If somebody needs to make a go make a heavy run, something like that, it will help as well. So that's pretty much all the tips I do have for you guys. If you did enjoy the video, drop a like below. Again, leave a comment if you got any questions. But generally, you guys should know where to find me. It's twitter.tv, or Twitter Ebontis, same screen name pretty much everywhere. Twitch.tv Ebontis, sometimes we'll do this stuff live. And then, of course, right here on YouTube. If you guys have not subscribed and hit that alert bell, please do, so I can keep the content coming to you, and so YouTube actually keeps me in your feed. But outside of that, guys, thank you very much wherever you are at around the world. I hope you are having an awesome day, have an awesome weekend, and Forsaken is coming. I'm really pumped for it. I honestly can't wait, and I hope you guys have a good one. See you soon. Hit me up on PC. It's Ebontis number 1305. Other than that, talk to you later.